What's up YouTube? I'm Charmaine Jamil and welcome back to another video. This week's video, I really wanted to share one of my experiences some years ago, feeling of being in a rut all the time. I really want to share these 3 tips for you. Maybe this is something you can explore that will help you to kind of get a foundation and a jump start when you start to feel like you're on this road of being in a rut. Try these 3 tips. So my 3 tips are: 1, to throw the fish back; 2, do not get bogged down in the what ifs; and 3, really focus on the small wins. So essentially about maybe 10 years ago at this particular point, because time just goes so fast, I really was in this point in my life where I really felt like there has to be more. There has to be more than just this kind of rote living of getting up, going to work, finding something to eat, finding something to cook, go to sleep, talk to the same people all the time, go to the same, events, and just being around in this small same circle. And I really just kind of felt like, what if I just took a risk and resigned from my job? And so that's essentially what I did. I prepared myself financially for maybe about a year and a half where I could live independently and just kind of do some of the things that I wanted to do. I had like my own self-imposed gap year, and essentially I said, I'm gonna travel, explore, new cultures, do these new things that were gonna really enlighten my life. And then after a while, then I'll just go back and then, be on the lookout for the job that I feel that is really what I want to do with my time. Well, like I said before, I had planned this year and a half. Financially, I had enough money to support myself, pay all my bills, do traveling and all of that for about a year and a half. And I just kind of naively thought that after this year was over, I would just go back and have a job and be able to, to continue to support myself. Well, this gap year, this self-imposed gap year turned into about 2.5, 3 years where I did not have a job. So I did not have health insurance, just, disposable income where I could do whatever I wanted to do, go where I wanted to go. And really what I had become accustomed to just was not an option for me any longer. I got a lot of flack from the people that I knew about me just resigning from a job because of how I felt. They just didn't get it. It was a lot of, well, what if you don't ever find a job again? What if it was all of these what ifs from these people that I thought would cheer me on and support me. And I understood, it wasn't anything that every other 28-year-old at the time was doing, but I just figured I wasn't married, I had no kids. When I ate, my family was fed, and I could do that. That if nothing else, that was the prime opportunity to do that because there was no one else depending on me. And so during this time where my gap year, we'll just call that the extension of the gap year, I really started to kind of come into this rut because it just seemed like nothing that I had planned had really worked out. I noticed at the time, I did not realize that, most people, when you're doing well in life, they'll treat you a certain way, and when you are not doing well in life, they'll treat you a different way. And I had that particular experience with these same people who I thought I had invested my time and friendships in them, and it just was not the same after I had resigned from my job and had been on this extension of a gap year. And so a lot of them treated me kind of like, I was just this self-imposed bum, that I wasn't doing anything, that I was just kind of sitting around waiting for something to just fall out of the sky. And it was a really eye-opening experience. And I can save that for another video. But essentially what I ended up doing, because I just kind of started to get all of these feelings of, one, these negative thoughts from people that I knew, what they had been trying to impose on me. And then hearing those particular thoughts, knowing these feelings of, but I thought I was going to be here at this particular point in my life and I'm not there, or it was just all of these different emotions. But one thing about it, when all of those emotions came together, I just kind of had this downward feeling of just always, kind of just being sad, like, woe is me, when is it my turn? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to be doing differently? And it would just be all of these thoughts running through my head. And so what I started doing was, one, throwing the fish back. And I really like this analogy of throwing the fish back, because if you've ever been fishing, or have seen movies or seen stuff on TV about fishing, a lot of times, depending on where you're fishing at, whether they ask you to throw the fish back. Like, you can, go through the motions of catching the fish, but you have to throw the fish back, which is essentially called a catch and a release. And the reason that you throw the fish back is so that you do not create like this desecration of this habitat, or making this particular habitat extinct. And so when I thought about the analogy of throwing the fish back and how we can do that with our emotions, a lot of times we pick up these emotions and we keep them bottled inside. It really leads to us being triggered by something, or having, to explode on somebody if something doesn't go our way, or completely having a meltdown. And I've had all three of those particular emotions. And so when I say throw the fish back, I mean release those emotions back into the wild. Yes, you caught them. Yes, you got them, but release them back into the wild, because once you release those back into the wild, it helps you to keep a healthy outlook on your self-esteem, helps you to keep a healthy balance on how to control your emotions. And so essentially what I did to throw my emotions back, I would get in my car, and I'm going to pop a picture up because I would do screenshots of a lot of the videos that I took. And I would just get in my car, I would get my phone, I would sit my phone on the steering wheel, hit record, and I would just start talking. Not talking in any specific way, it basically was just a dear diary. This is what happened today. This is who I spoke to. And do you know what she said to me? And do you know what I saw? I was just talking as if I was talking to another person who was never going to tell what I shared with them. And a lot of people have a lot of access to different resources. For you, that might be your therapist, that might be your counselor, that might be a trusted friend or family member. But for me at the time, I just did not have access to any of that, or where I felt comfortable enough to share those particular personal emotions with anybody. What I would do is I would throw my emotions out on the camera, which is still similar to writing in a journal, but the only difference, or the reason I like to do the recording, because I can go back and watch them. And when you go back and watch them, what I was looking for, what I really kind of got in the habit of doing, was paying attention to what I was saying the most. If I started repeating something about my interaction with a certain person at least 3 times and it was a negative experience, when I was looking at the video, I kept telling myself, then why are you still talking to this person? Why are you still allowing this person to be in your life? Why are you allowing that person to say these things to you? It was kind of like I almost flipped into the third person, trying to tell myself, girl, get it together. Why can't you see this? And so I really started to hear myself saying, this is how I feel. This is how this person made me feel. This is what I want to feel. I saw this on television today and it made me feel this way. So you have to pay attention to those connections. When you're watching your videos back, what is something that you're repeating all the time? Because if you're repeating it at least 3 or more times, that's really what's vexing your spirit. That's what's vexing your emotions. And once you can hone in on that particular space, or where you are in your life, that environment that you are in your life, then that's what you can kind of start to pick apart and really find some solutions to really pinpointing, I need to do this. And so I really encourage you to, one, throw back the fish, meaning throw back your emotions. Don't let those just sit and kind of resonate and, really keep you in this downward feeling of being in a rut all the time. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is don't get bogged down in the what ifs. I remember looking on, I think I was on social media, and I saw this young lady. She was basically posting these videos of her graduation. She had enrolled in school and she had got her doctorate degree, and she was so happy because she was just basically saying this was like a long time goal of what she wanted to do and how this made her feel. She was basically sharing her experience about her time in school, and I was so glued to what she was saying. And during that time, or during this time, because this experience I'm going to share was just a couple of years ago, I knew that I wanted to also go back to school to get my doctorate degree, but I just felt that I had waited so late. So I'm 39, and at that time I was 36, no. I was 33. I was 33 at the time, and 33 or 34, something like that. But anyways, I felt like, oh my gosh, but by the time I finish, if I start it now, I'm going to be 37. We're seeing something that said you're going to be that age anyway. So you can either be that age with the degree or without the degree. And that's basically when I just said, you know what? If you want to have that same emotion, that same connection, that same feeling, then you're going to have to get out of the, well, what if? What if I don't finish? What if who cares? Who cares? But what if you do finish? Then what is going to happen? So essentially what I did, I took my time and just kind of jotted down some things of, what do I need to do to get past all of these what ifs? Because if you get bogged down in the what ifs, you're going to turn 37 and you're still going to be saying what if? And all that time, because time is going to continue to keep going. So with that last tip, which is what is something you can achieve now, today, or tomorrow? And so going on with the example that I just shared with you about me wanting to go back to school and get my doctorate, once I got over that, what if I don't finish? I'm going to be too old by the time I finish. Once I got into the notion of saying, what is something that I can do to achieve something today that's going to contribute to, whatever this final result is. So I remember when I had the notion of, I want to go back to school to get my doctorate degree, something that was achievable for me that day was, okay, Charmaine, we'll at least start looking at programs that you feel that might serve you well. So I just got online, started looking at different programs, writing those things down. Were they online? Were they hybrid? Or were they fully in person? What was my schedule like at the time? And I really had to think about some of those things. Another thing was, okay, just apply. Pay the application fee and see what happens. You just need to really focus on, what can I achieve today or tomorrow that's going to give me a small win? Because all of those small wins helps to build your confidence, helps to give you a boost of, yes, this is coming to fruition. Yes, this is actually going to happen. And anyone who kind of comes in with negativity, or you start having those negative thoughts, then you can start repeating those wins to whatever that voice is. Oh, you're going to be too old, or what if you don't finish? Okay, yes, that is a what if, but the win that I have today is I actually looked at schools. I actually applied. I actually paid the fee, my application fee. I actually, got an acceptance letter. So you really have to put yourself in spaces that are going to give you a quick win. And it can be something so small. It doesn't have to be, this large thing, because once all of those particular wins come together, that's what's going to be your story that you are going to be able to share with others. So I really hope that you kind of just take these 3 tips, see if they work for you, see can at least become foundational for you, especially the first tip, the throw back the fish. Never let those emotions sit within you for so long that when something major happens, then you have this big reaction. Because what is essentially going to happen is that you're going to build your muscle of control, and you're going to be able to take control of those emotions and really say, this is a negative emotion that's getting ready to come. Let me do X, Y, and Z. Or this is emotion that I want to feel. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video today. I'm really excited about adding more motivational videos. Share with me in the comments, what is a small win that you have achieved recently? Because I really want to know. I really want to hear from you, and I really thank you for watching this video today. Please like this video and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.